Well guys, what do you know? It's a Monday morning and I've got a day off. Yeah, work's pretty full on at the moment. Yeah, most days I arrive home a little bit tired, and often we work about an hour over our time limit. We've got to sort that out soon, but that's work politics and nothing to do with this video. Well anyway, it's a beautiful sunny Monday morning. Now let's think, it's been raining. Oh yes, lots of rain, and I'm just on my way to my favourite place, and what I'll do is when I get there I'll boot it back up because I've got a lovely breakfast to cook today. See you in a minute. Well, there we go folks, a lovely array of wildflowers and plants. Obviously you can see the bluebells just there. We've got some jack by the hedge, a carpet of celandines, some sapling holly, and just down there arum or cuckoo pint or lords and ladies. That's a poisonous one, and so are the bluebells, but obviously the jack by the hedge, or hedge garlic it is known, is quite a tasty edible. Goes well with a little bit of cheese. And the celandines before they flower are apparently edible, though I've not tried them yet. They do have a certain toxicity. Well guys, today I thought I'd try a little bit something different. I'm going to do what I call scrambled egg supreme. And in it, obviously the eggs, they're in this jar. I got the idea more or less off of Bushcraft Burton's, Mike, out there in Canada. He used a plastic bottle. I've used this glass jar. It's quite tough glass and it fits in the box and it's rinsing out. So there's my eggs in there, 2 duck eggs and an ordinary hen's egg. I've got some samphire, lovely stuff, so I won't need to put any salt into the mix because this is quite salty. Buy this fresh from work. Parma ham, a type of stuff to go in omelettes or a risotto, a sauce, which incidentally was in the jar originally, and my favourite cooking outdoors type cheese, which is, if I open a box, come on baby, there we go, halloumi cheese I've already diced, and a couple of bits of bread. This is a French bread that we bake at work. You know, we make a nice French dish, boule de campagne, huge loaf, it really is huge. So that's what we got. I'm calling it scrambled egg supreme. So as I said, cheese, eggs, samphire, parma ham, a little bit of a saucy mix, and the bread. Okay, I'll be with you in a bit guys. Well, here you go guys. I think I'm getting a bit low on gas. Put it on there. Right, first off we need a little bit of butter. It's got a right knob there, right there. Right. Maybe a tad more. The only problem I found with using this particular stove is the fact that it does slide around a lot. But then again, you know, it's all swings and roundabouts. Right, we've got the halloumi cheese in. So give it a nice little stir around. Turn the heat down over a bit. Ideally I'd use a thicker bottom pot if I wasn't lightweight camping as such. Right. Just put the lid on that for a bit. Check my tea. Should have brewed by now. Lovely jubbly. some of this stuff, which is the this one's actually a risotto mix, but they do a scrambled egg mix which looks exactly the same, or an omelette mix should I say. That'll bring out the flavours. This looks really yummy. Right. Wait till it starts getting a real bubble. I think there's great joy in cooking outdoors and trying to cook a meal without using something that's instant, you know, like an instant rice or an instant packet of noodles. It's good, you know, it's more satisfying. You know, you get inspiration from guys like Mike out in Canada and what have you. Right, so now it's bubbling up a bit. We'll pop the samphire in, and we'll break this. It's quite salty, this samphire. It grows on the coast, mostly in Norfolk. It comes from Norfolk, but if you go to the estuaries you'll find it on the mud flats. It's very, very tasty. Right, now I'm going to drop in my strips of Parma ham. Very nice and very tasty. This is going to be a gorgeous, gorgeous breakfast. Right, there we go. Let that do its thing for a minute, and I'm going to chuck the eggs in. It's a big breakfast, but then again, I'm a big lad. Right, a little bit more there. Right. As ever with your rubbish, pack it out. Right. The great thing with this is you can actually give the whole thing a good shake up as well. You get them all that yolk and that all that mixed in. Chip it in. Oh, still got a couple of broken yolks. Right, pop that in the pot. That'll come in useful for when I'm making pickles and that later in the year. Right, and there we go. All I've got to do now is to let it all cook out. And that is what I call scrambled egg supreme. Really tasty. Well guys, I'm going to let that cook out and see what happens. There we go. It's starting to congeal and do it. Sacre bleu. Well, there we go guys, it's all cooked and ready to eat, and I'm looking forward to it. Okay, and I'll be back in a bit. I hope you can get this, guys. It's a woodpecker woodpecking. Oh, he's gone now. It's not particularly a clear picture, but I just hope you're getting it. Well guys, I hope you like that image of the woodpecker. It's amazing what you see when you're sitting here quiet. You know, I've got Alfie, my faithful little wonderhound. Oh, something crept up behind me there. Yeah, I mean earlier I heard two squirrels having a tea, and I can see a tree creeper creeping up the tree. Unfortunately I won't be able to get it on the camera because it's being obscured, but it's an amazing thing to watch. Right, it's just flown to another tree, the one over there. Let's go from there to there. But anyway, I mean, you know, it's amazing. You're sitting quiet. You don't need to go to Africa to see big cats or anything like that. Okay, you know, it's a nice thing to say that you've gone to the savannah and saw a cat in the real life, but sitting here, I've got our own wildlife park really. Close encounters with tree creepers, squirrels, and the woodpecker. I think it's a greater spotted woodpecker. It certainly wasn't the green woodpecker, so it would be, as we've only got to it, be the greater spotted one. And it was very nice to watch it do its woodpeckery thing on the tree. Green woodpeckers have a lovely bright red flash over their heads, and they're an amazing thing. They tend to laugh at you more than the greater spotted woodpeckers. You hear this cackling laughter. And what's been happening in the world of men? Well, I put up a thing the other day on a couple of the bushcraft forums about someone was trying to buy a new sleeping bag, and I proffered my advice, and their retort was they would never pay X amount for a sleeping bag. They thought it way too overpriced. But my philosophy, and I may have covered this before, is you basically get what you pay for. John Ruskin put it very well, and the quote I cannot remember, but exactly, but it basically says there's always someone out there prepared to make something a little less well and a little more cheaper, and the people that buy on that case alone are well deserved to the shoddy goods. Yeah, you do get what you pay for, but having said that, there are some genuine bargains and some genuine things to be had at a very good price. Mora knives come to mind. Excuse me. Mora knives come to mind. For about £12 sterling, you can get a very good bushcraft knife. 3/4 tang, I do believe. Excellent knife. I can't fault them. In fact, I know one or two professional woodsmen who use them as part of their tools for the job, because they are so good at what they do. They keep a very good edge. Okay, they might not be the thickest knife in the world, but you don't often need that, you know. You can spend up to £2,000 on a bushcraft knife, but you've got to ask yourself, you know, am I going to get the value out of it? Okay, it'll last you a lifetime. A knife well looked after will last you a lifetime, or a good 30 years. The woodpecker's just flown over there again. And the same goes for a lot of kit. You do get what you pay for. You've got to shop wisely. I won't buy a second-hand sleeping bag, but then it's a personal thing. It's like buying second-hand shoes. You don't know whose feet's been in the shoes. And again with a sleeping bag, particularly as I've been in the army, you don't know what's been going on inside the sleeping bag. That's just my own personal thing, and I like to buy quality. Okay, the sleeping bags I've bought, the two new purchases basically, are quite pricey, but they're going to last me a good few years. I mean, heck, I had 2 army sleeping bags that I purloined when I was in the army back in 1976, and they lasted me right up into the 1990s. So I cannot complain about the longevity of using them bags, and they were down bags, and they were still serviceable. They were just a little bit careworn, and they were huge. I mean, I'm talking about big. Still the same machinations on knives going round and round and round. I honestly think a lot of people miss this whole idea of what we call bushcraft, but I think it's wilderness skills, wood law, or woodland skills, forest skills, whatever. I think we miss the point sometimes. It is about just being out here and enjoying the open spaces, being quiet. You know, even now, like, it's just you and I and all these birdies, and I'm not making a terrific racket. The most noisy thing I've had today is the cooker, and that was a very nice breakfast. Yeah, we forget to enjoy ourselves. We're so wrapped up in kit and what have you. But kit's nothing if you can't go out and enjoy just being in the nature with very minimal gear. Then there's something wrong. Having said that, I brought my hoochie out today because Pete Mindwiseman and a couple of others have expressed an interest in it, and I'm going to set it up. It's a very, very good tart, but it's not cheap due to the exchange rate between the Australian dollar and sterling. It's not a cheap piece of kit by any means, and you can actually get as good a tarp for half the price. But I bought it a couple of years back when it was cheap, you know, when it was a good price, and I can't fault it. It's a nice piece of kit, maybe a tad on the short side, but I use it primarily for just as a shelter, and to when I'm sleeping on the ground and I think it's going to rain, I want something over the top. Hammock wise, it's just a tad on the short side, you know, but I'll be going over this in a minute. Other than that, it's just good being out here. I really do enjoy it, and these woods are right on my doorstep. I've just bought 2 new pannier bags for the bike, so I might be, hopefully later in the year, doing a few longer trips, sadly without Alfie, my wonder hound, and maybe a few overnights further afield. Who knows? I've yet to christen the canoe. Work's been so hectic since I bought the canoe that I've not had a chance really to get out. I need a couple of days off together, and I need to hop on the bus to my local river. Other than that, not a lot's happened in the world. You know, it's life is just good, and life is great. A few shout outs, I think. Sarah, I do love your videos, they are wonderful. You've got such a relaxing voice as well, and it's nice to see you're part of the world. The same with you, Mike. Your trips into Canada. I love the shelters that you build. Sadly I can't do the same here, partly because this is public woodland, and I can pretty well guarantee if I built a really good shelter, someone would come along and rip it apart for no other good reason than they could rip it apart. I did have a little stash of firewood and all that's disappeared. So, but I've got my tarp, and that's and that makes a quick improvised shelter. Tim and Sepp out in Germany, your vids are great, guys. I like your videos, Tim. You know, really off the wall, great. I mean, it is inspiring. And the same to you, street artists. I like some of your videos. Let's see, Sandy, I look forward to the time that we actually meet up and get some dirt time together. It'd be nice to get out in the woods. It's great that I inspire people, and I hope that I've inspired you. I hope the condor knife that you bought does work out well. I did read your little review and saying it had come blunt, which I think is very bad form, as you know. A tool, if you buy it, should come ready to use. And well, guys, I'm gonna finish my tea and then I'm going to do a quick review, providing I don't have the same food bar as I had last week with the memory running out on the camera. I don't think I will. I think I've cleared it. I'm going to put the tarp up and I'll go over the knots that I use for holding the tarp up, and also I shall go around the tarp and explain its various features. So I'll catch you in a minute, guys. I've got some tea to finish and I'm going to have a little clear up and then we'll see. Bye. Right, the Australian hoochie. Obviously Australian, used by the Australian military. It's lightweight, folds up to this size. If you buy it from Woodlaw, it doesn't come with the fixings. You have to buy them separately, but that's no matter. Before I put this up, what I'll do is I've got some rope and I'll go through the 3 knots that I use to erect this beastie. Okie doke. Nice piece of kit, and what I've done, and I'll pan round, you've got 3mm cord with the half prusik knot going up to a fixing on the corner. Right, as you can see, reinforced corners, and you've got a slight woodland pattern. Across the top of the tarp you've got 5 loops which the ridgeline goes through, and on either end I've used a prusik knot and it pulls the ridgeline taut. Normally when I've set this up I have another line going underneath to hang my bits and pieces on. Right, at that end I've got the event slippery hitch going up to the tent taut line, I think it's called. Right, it's not a cheap piece of kit. I mean, at £90 as it retails now, it's very expensive, and as I said earlier, I honestly believe you can get a better tarp, or as good a tarp as this one, for easily half the price. DD make very good tarps, and of course if you go to your army surplus store you might be able to pick up an ex-army basher from between £20 to £50. But there are features that army bashers do not have that this has. Obviously we've got fixings across the either side, so you can tie it out a bit more, or as I normally hang something off of here I've got little glow sticks that recharge during the day with natural daylight, and at night I just hang them on the side of the tarp so that if I need to disappear anywhere for a pee or something else, I can find the thing back. You know, you just got this little glow in the dark. It's also got these popper fittings, fresh stud fittings, and very useful they are too. When I did the campcraft course earlier or late last year, we did a 4-season shelter. So we was given 2 tarps, 2 of these. You press stud them together, you make an A-frame up with obviously some timber or some wood, and you thatch either end. So basically you've got this large shelter. It's enough to sleep 2 plus your kit, and it is great. And as I say, and that's my tarp. I've just set it up for, say, like a wet picnic, say, so you can sit underneath it out of the rain. If I was going to be sleeping underneath here in a bivvy bag, I'd have it a little bit lower so that it covers a bivvy bag or covers a sleeping bag and keeps me relatively dry, but when I wake up I can see straight out. A little bit higher, I would have this up a bit higher, and I would obviously have a deeper pitch if I was using a hammock. My advice is don't light fires underneath it, because you'll end up with it getting rather holy, as I've seen some of the woodlaw ones like. Very good piece of kit. I can't recommend it highly enough, but as I say, I wouldn't say there are better tarps out there. There are tarps of equivalent quality and at half the price, but I bought this when it was a relatively good price, but the exchange rate between the Australian dollar and English sterling is the cause of this being at a premium rate. My view of this tarp, yeah, it's very good. As someone once said, if Ray uses it, it's normally quite good, and he does use this apart from other tarps. I wish I could have got hold of the bigger version of this, but unfortunately due to the high price, Woodlaw have stopped stocking it. So that's my review of the Australian Hoochie. And any advice, anything else you want to know, by all means get in contact. And that's my little doggy, Alfie the Wonder Hound.